So here we go. Time, if that first race is anything to go by in the seniors, let's belt ourselves in and get ready for a roller coaster of a ride between these drivers. It's going to be epic if anything's to go by. There's some key people to keep an eye out that we can expect to be really trying to charge through the field, and we've seen that this circuit really lends itself to that. And the second lot of seniors are going to be trying to make sure they can take advantage of the opportunity to get yourselves up a lot of positions, but equally you need to be wary that you can lose a lot. We saw contact taken out the first and second driver in that opening heat. They're going to be hoping it's a lot cleaner for this one. And remember, it's 11 laps. So we even had the ability, even if you're involved in some contact, you can work your way through it, but it was backwards and forwards. And I expect to see exactly the same here. We have the junior champion from last year racing out in this as well. So let's have a look at the grid for this one. In pole position is Glenn Van Paris. Christopher Drayspring alongside him on the front row. Nicholas Scholl, the current championship leader, starts in third position on the second row. Alex alongside him in 2.75. On the third row is 2.21 Josh White, with Gary Donnelly figuring highly in the championship at the moment, starting in sixth position on the third row. On the fourth row is Daniel Makacek and Thomas Drouet in 2.23. On the fifth row, Jack McCarthy, last year's junior champion, moving up to the seniors this year, and Joel DePuch. Row 6 is Ruud Beidendijk and Ed Brand back there. We saw his time in warm-up that would have put him a long way up the grid, so what's he going to do now we're into race conditions? Seventh row, Baptiste Moulin and Nicolas Duchateau. Eighth row, Noah Ruvers and Tom Croydon. Ninth and final row, Gianluigi Pelego and Luke Villens. Gianluigi Pelego, it's his home circuit, it's certainly home round of this, and he was looking forward to this race and feeling quite confident that he could get himself involved in the mix here, but he kind of got balked by people going slow trying to find space, and I think he got kind of a bit frustrated at one stage. But I suspect there's a good chance he's going to work himself up through the grid as well. So they've completed their first warm-up lap. They're now getting themselves lined up and ready. So this group are getting ready as early as the juniors did. So it was very late in that first heat for them to slow down and start lining themselves up. They're coming round turn number 9, the right-hand hairpin, before they then get to the left-hand hairpin of turn 10, where they certainly will get themselves lined up, because the channels start just a little bit further around turn 11, but the marshals will be stood there with the yellow flags, getting them slowed down, getting them into order, making sure everybody's behaving, nobody's going to get left behind, nobody's trying to make a jump start. Looks like they're lining up very well at the moment. The marshals are just looking further down to make sure everybody, every row is where they should be. So far so good. Goodness me, they really have slowed down there, haven't they? Coming round ready to start this 11-lap race. There you see the start of the channels. Not the all-important part there, but certainly by the time they get round onto the start-finish line, here we go. We're going to get the green light. So far so good. Looks like they are in the channels, and look at that straightaway moving over. Was 2.14. Christopher Drayspring was trying to make a move, but it looks like it is still Glenn Van Paris that has the lead, and in fact Drayspring, I think, has lost out a couple of positions there, because up into second is 2.16 Nicholas Scholl, the driver that's been dominant this season. Oh, and we've got a couple that, oh, that one's sounding very rough there, unfortunately. That's the 2.47 car of Baptiste Moulin. That does not sound good. Has something come off that car? It sounds like it's lost all kind of noise control. But out at front there is 2.06 Glenn Van Paris. It's now 2.21 that's sitting there. So Josh White. So where's Constantine Scholl? He's fourth position now. So it was all changed a little bit further around. 2.14 Christopher Drayspring, who lost out momentarily, has got himself back up into third position and is actually putting masses of pressure on the car of Josh White. Josh White defending like mad, and that could enable Nicholas Scholl to move his way back up again there. Gary Donnelly up into fifth, Truet up into sixth, Jack McCarthy up into seventh position. He's made up a couple of positions already. Luke Villens is a driver that's really made a move there, up into 11th position already. That's 7 positions made up. Oh, Makacek going through there, sounding very rough, that car, and unsurprisingly gone straight into the paddock area, and it looks like we've lost Gianluigi Pelego. Unfortunately, I was really hyping up the chances that he'd have, but 214 has managed to get past up into second by the looks of that, is it? Yes, he has indeed. So 221 is back down to third, so that is Josh White back to third. Christopher Drayspring back into the second position where he started this race, and out front is Glenn Van Paris, trying to put as many positions as possible between he and the main protagonist, because Glenn Van Paris arrived here fourth in the championship. Is mighty close, obviously, after only one round. And it does look as if Christopher Drayspring and Josh White are just starting to reel Glenn Van Paris in ever so slightly. It does look like it's the three of those. Then it's the Nicholas Scholl in fourth, Gary Donnelly, Thomas Druitt and Jack McCarthy, I think. Is he involved with those? I believe he is, right there in the thick of it. Luc Valence up to ninth position from 18th on the grid. So he's done well, very last position, but he's made up half of the grid already. Look at this, the front three are absolutely joined together. It is indeed still Glenn Van Paris from Christopher Drayspring and Josh White, but they are absolutely nose to tail. 266 now. Donnelly's up into fourth position ahead of Nick Scholl. So Nick Scholl has not only been passed, but in fact he's got the drivers behind him, Druitt, McCarthy, Alex and Valence, absolutely glued to the back of him. Valence just off that ever so slightly at the moment. It looks like we've got a challenge being made for second position as they go down there, and it's cleanly done. A fabulous move there. So that is, presumably, that is 2-1. Josh White got himself back up to second. In fact, it's our leader's gone backwards there. So Drayspring has gone back down to third. So much going on that I missed exactly what happened there. And it looks like Christopher Drayspring is up into the lead now. Josh White in second. And our erstwhile leader, 206 there. Glenn Van Paris is back to third, and in fact has got Donnelly and Scholl breathing down his neck. And he's going to be under pressure for potentially losing more. That's 4 laps completed. Christopher Drayspring, look at that, whatever's gone on there has basically now made it, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost a 9-car train at the front there, all the way back to Druitt. And Nick Scholl in fifth position, Jack McCarthy, Alex, Luc Valence, Thomas Druitt. That's your positions behind Gary Donnelly, as I said, that's in fourth position at the moment. Look at this. It's all going on from fourth backwards. I say fourth, I think the third position, Glenn Van Paris, is still slightly under pressure there. And you can see it just closing in. First two have managed to make a little bit of a break at the moment. Christopher Drayspring still from Josh White. Through they go, 266. Gary Donnelly up into third position as we reported. Glenn Van Paris in fourth and really under pressure. Look at the pressure he's being put under by 216 Nick Scholl at the moment. It's mighty close. Then it's Jack McCarthy, the 218. Unfortunately, it's difficult to pick those two out. The 216, 218, same colours. There's not much difference between the numbers. So, but at the moment, it looks like Scholl is just ahead of Jack McCarthy. But look at this. They're trying to go three abreast at one stage there, weren't they? And Jack McCarthy, in fact, has got himself ahead of that whole group. And 206 is desperately trying to defend that. Glenn Van Paris, I think, has probably found himself losing a couple of positions there. The junior champion from last year, Jack McCarthy, where does that put him? Well, look at this second and... oh, goodness me, they're glued together. So, here's Drayspring, White and Donnelly that have broken clear. Jack McCarthy up to fourth. Glenn Van Paris fifth. Alex up to fifth. Nicholas Scholl down to seventh. So that was how it... Oh, and somebody's just bounced over the curbs there that nearly catapulted him into somebody else. That's the 275 car of Alex. That looked rather uncomfortable as they got on the brakes for the S's of turn 3. And did that enable him to move up a place or lose a place? It's so difficult to say because they're absolutely grouped together at the moment. But 206... Glenn Van Paris is now ahead of Jack McCarthy. So it's Jack McCarthy under the brakes, just waggling that nose, saying, I'm not very happy that you're in front of me and I'm not going to settle for it. He's not junior champion by accident. He's got some great talent. But as we come through to complete yet another lap, it's still Christopher Drayspring fairly comfortably at the moment, but it's over a quarter of a second. 4 laps remaining. Josh White in second, Gary Donnelly in third, Glenn Van Paris back up into that fourth position, Jack McCarthy in fifth, but you daren't blink because that could all change yet again. But Glenn Van Perry is holding Jack McCarthy back. Alex up into is in 6th position at the moment. Nicholas Scholl in 7th, so he started, he qualified 7th overall from everybody. He's actually running 7th in this race, and they say that's supposed to be a lucky number. It's not lucky for him at the moment. Is it? He's now starting to close in on this lead too, and it looks like we've got yet another challenge, and it is 2:06 there. Glenn Van Perry's actually defending like mad from 2:18 Jack McCarthy. And now Jack McCarthy needs to be aware of Alex. The 2:75 cart was really sniffing up the inside, not quite able to pull it off, and just behind him is the 2:16 of Nicholas Scholl, almost taking a watching brief at the moment because he's seen Alex bounce over bumps and what have you so far and throwing it up the inside, so he's wondering whether that he could pick up some pieces here. But equally he's got 2:12 Luc Valence. What a performance from last on the grid, and he's now glued to the back of our championship leader Nicholas Scholl, and goodness me, he's got every chance of making up positions because those guys are joined together in a complete train. Christopher Drayspring, look at that lead has evaporated. He was comfortably sat there as they head to turn number 10, the left-hand hairpin. 2 more corners before they complete this lap. That will give them 3 laps remaining, so this is 8 laps completed. But look at this, Josh White is now applying the pressure. Last time round it was 0.273. It's not gone down as much as I thought. It's only 0.261, but it looked a lot closer this time, leaving a very lonely race for Gary Donnelly. I don't think he's going to be too disappointed there. Alex actually lost out on 2 positions. Nicholas Scholl and Luc Valence managed to both jump ahead of him to go 6th, 7th respectively. Alex down to 8th. But we've seen that Alex is really happy to get in the mix. This is his home race here as well. And I'm not being rude by just saying Alex. That is all he's known as. And so that's all I will call him. It is Alex. But look at these lead 2 going through turn 9, turn 10. And they will be about to start their final lap. This is penultimate at the moment. Christopher Drayspring still just about has that lead. Is Josh White going to be lining them up to try and potentially make a move? 3rd position, the lonely Gary Donnelly, but is it still Glenn Van Perry? Sat in 4th position. Yes, it is. Jack McCarthy still in 5th. Nicholas Scholl, Luc Valence, Alex, Thomas Drouet, Noah Ruvers, Joe DePuch in 11th, and 12th is Dachito. Ed Brand is out. I've just suddenly clocked that Ed Brand is no longer there either. So despite the time that he was putting in the warm-up this morning, he's actually fallen out altogether about 7 laps ago. So I didn't see him go off anywhere, but he definitely was lost. But here we go, final lap. They're going to be heading towards us any second now. Christopher Drayspring still has the lead through turn number 9. Just 3 more corners to go. Is he going to hold it all the way, or is Josh White going to throw one up the inside as we get down towards it? We have seen a move being made on these last 2 corners. It doesn't look like he's going to do anything risky here. And through he comes to take the checkered flag. Christopher Drayspring from 2nd on the grid takes the win. Josh White from down in 5th takes the 2nd. Gary Donnelly, and look at that for the 4th, 5th positions. And it is Glenn Van Perry for 4th, Jack McCarthy 5th, Nicholas Scholl in 6th, Luc Valence in 7th. My goodness, that was all change. Then we got Alex in 8th, Drouet in 9th, Noah Ruvers in 10th, Joe DePuch in 11th, Dachito in 12th, Biden Dyke in 13th, Tom Croydon in 14th, and the 15th and final finisher was the 247 car of Moulin. But my goodness, that was back and forth from that 4th position backwards, and it did deliver what it promised, what it threatened, as by showing us how exciting it was in race number 1. That was the 2nd of the heats. That was the C versus D. That gives us a break from the seniors for now, and I think we need it just to